can I do for you?
Please be advised.
Well, I've got an LG refrigerator that's no longer getting cold.
Meaning that
Things
the
are melting in the freezer, and the temperature inside the refrigerator box was last time I checked 51 degrees.
I see. And how old is this refrigerator?
I would
5 years.
5 years or under.
I see. Has this had any repairs done on it since then?
Never.
I see.
Never.
And so now
Started making a funny noise yesterday, and then when I woke up this morning, temperatures were much warmer, and the freezer had water in it in the ice department, and ice cream melted.
okay. Well, have you had a chance to do any research on why it shut down?
Well, I've gone through the manual here, and I've talked to the number that is in the manual, and they transferred me to you.
Oh, okay. So I'm just doing a process here of figuring out how they're handling the current shortage to fix this common complaint now. And what we are experiencing, and I can come to your house to verify this, the likelihood of it being repaired is less than 20%.
Less than 20%.
Yes.
And what would be your theory as to why it is no longer functioning? The compressor went out. It still comes on and off, but it's an unusual noise.
But it will not stay on. And
No,
so
it comes off and on.
The refrigerator's working.
Well,
It's not keeping cold.
It's
yeah.
funny. It says it's 37 degrees, but it's not.
Okay. Well, like I'm explaining, the components that controls that temperature rate to keep it consistently cold for what you were used to a week ago, that function has malfunctioned, which is a sensor network system. And or that's a linear compressor that you have. It's not an old school traditional pump compressor. That's a solenoid compressor, which the solenoid will lose its capability of keeping a sealed compressing capability. So it blows out basically. And you have no more Freon. Or you start leaking Freon, and then one morning you wake up, there's not enough Freon to sustain sub-zero temperature, and you have water in your freezer, and you have warmth in your refrigerator compartment, and your fans are still running, and your lights are still on, and now your temperature gauge has gone up. And so the sensor network is part of the electrical system, and for that linear compressor, that compressor's 80% to 85% is no longer available. They're not making it because it's a manufacturer's defect design.
So we just happen to have one of those defective solenoids. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we happen to have one of these products that was already predetermined to be put out in the industry in 2005. And when Sears was no longer in the equation for quality insurance for customers to be secure on when manufacturers are directed to make a product for bottom line purposes to satisfy the masses. So they'll put a product out there with components that they don't use 1960s, 1970s, or 1980s traditional copper or zinc or metals that will sustain temperature of heat in the circuitry. So when these circuits blow out, a relay or a diode, which controls the voltage in the control board, well, that diode is a chip, and that chip is what we are having problems in materials to get. So there is a chip shortage, which means these control boards are not being made fast enough to replace these and fix these complaints. So therefore, it's a design that is put out in the market because there's no longer a national sustainable provider to give us the comfort that we need and to have these items repaired and save us money. The repair should only be half the cost new. And that's what we expect, but that's no longer the model no more because Sears is no longer here. And that model slowly dissipates because there's no responsibility now. And
we didn't buy it at Sears.
Well, that's a Sears, it's a product that normally, predominantly, you would have purchased from a reputable, if not Sears, something substandard to Sears, to where you can have a repair.
Is where we got it.
That is now Home Depot is the depot for all these appliances that are coming from our 4 major manufacturers that are making these products still, and there's no major service provider to maintain.
Wow,
repair.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I got proof for that also because if I had your phone number, I'll text you the actual link for the LG lawsuits that you may be able to apply to get money back.
Yes, please do.
And the way I will be able to do that is by having a number to text this information to you, and I don't have a number for you.
I can get it to you right now.
Okay, let me see here. Let me go to my phone. Okay. Now these are the things that we would have been discussing at your home. And what I found to be true is that people feel like they got used. And this information is known already for 8 years. And so
That's great.
what is your phone number? Okay, and this is the purpose of me putting these texts together because no one is explaining this information. And we are expecting this stuff to be repairable, but the parts, we cannot get 85% of getting parts, we cannot get these parts, especially if they're compressors.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, can I ask you then for a recommendation of a refrigerator that does have an updated part?
well, the way this is designed now for customer convenience, any appliance that is available is recommended because of supply and demand, and anything that is still out in the industry, those are the products that they are expecting us to buy or to purchase. So you'll be fine on whatever purchase you make.
All right.
Just
So
be aware that
those newer products on the market that no longer carry that particular solenoid or chip, is that what you're saying? It's a different type?
because we are all aware now. Hopefully they've made steps because there's no one we can complain to.
Yeah.
So whatever they want to keep us in a psychological state of mind, that's what they have the power to do that. Now, the purchase of these new appliances is that you should get a minimum of 2 years with no problems, and that's the purchase of it. And hopefully the components that are in there will give you another 5 years before you have to replace it. And because the components are electronics, and electronics are easy to be made now. Most of our appliances are made out of electronics and not out of fixed components. The fixed components last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Metal
I've got a
components.
refrigerator in my garage that's at least 30 years old.
Because of metal components and motor actuators, contacts. All of our contacts now are sensory, which those diodes go bad, and then they cause a thermal runaway, and they blow out the control board relays. And that's what we're dealing with. And so until they put quality components in a fixed component state in an electronic board, which they use electronics to save space and to create more power on a lower level so that other things can be made. But appliances are shorthanded by that. They no longer make this design no more, as a matter of fact. This is what you would call a DUV design, the lowest form of electronics. And now they're making them out of EUVs, which is the highest form of electronics, which is all sensor hand touch, all television screen, all Bluetooth connections. And that's what the new appliances will offer. And those haven't came out probably until they'll be flooded. The industry will be flooded here in another 2 years probably, because we got to still square away the economics of imports.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff going on, but as far as your refrigerator, that LG is known as an issue. And so there's an LG class action lawsuit. If you go to, I think it's, I'll send it to you. If you go to the website, put your model number in there, and if your model number shows up, you have action.
Yeah, I did get that one text from you. I just received that.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So it should show the lawsuits and why they're lawsuits, and then the LG actual lawsuit. I'm going to send that to you in specific.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So, in other words, we should be out shopping for a new refrigerator. Is that correct?
In my opinion, over the phone, without getting overly sensitive about the complaint, and what my expectations would be if I did a verification service call, I would say you will be safer purchasing a new one.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Just the general information for refrigerators. That's been my. If it was a water leaking on the floor, or if it was your foods were still frozen but your refrigerator fresh food compartment is warm, if it was one of those complaints, or your water is not running or leaking, your water line, your ice maker, if it was that type of complaint, it would be repairable. But your complaint is an actual functionality of the refrigerator design. The refrigerator is designed as a heat exchange. It takes the heat out and exchange it for cold. Well, that function is what defines your refrigerator, and that function is no longer working, which is an overhaul. So if anyone was to do a repair, it would be misleading, and the repair wouldn't be sustainable. So that's where a lot of appliance companies are not doing LG replacements of components of electronics or of compressors, sealed systems. And all that information will be in those texts that I sent to you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, and you have a great day. Any other appliances, I can service you, and I'll send you my general information and labor rates.
Yeah, great. Now that's the my other appliances we've had no problem so far. New dishwasher, KitchenAid, and we've got a gas stove that's functioning fine.
Okay, and they're all electronic, so the average time length is 5 years, less than 15, and 15 is really pushing it. I would say less than 10 years.
Okay.
But the prices will be, the retail price will show about a $400 to $500 difference you won't pay. If you would have paid $1,500, you're gonna probably pay $1,000 for it because of this. You'll notice the prices are cheaper, so you should still get what you want and a lot cheaper.
Okay.
All right, sir. Well, I do thank you for your call, and best of wishes. If there's anything else I can do for you.
Thank you very much for your information. I appreciate you sharing your information.
You're welcome. And if there's anything I can do for you in the future, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Please be advised. All calls are recorded for quality insurance to help protect our consumers and our providers.